Welcome back to Talk to a Brother and What the COVID.
What the COVID. So Grand Rising, everyone. Yes, this is Talk to a Brother. No egos, no judgment. Break bread and prosper.
Love that.
I'm Coach Chris, Yam Power.
I'm Thomas Scannell, and today we have...
I'm Andrew Brown. I'm the Chief Exec of the Croydon BME Forum.
Big title.
Big time.
Thank you.
That's practice right there. Practicing perfectionism. Thank you for joining us, Andrew, as well.
Thank you.
Andrew, literally, as you called like 15 minutes ago, he was in the office. Andrew's just had a call from one of the top guys in Croydon as well.
Wow.
Like, I'll be at the meeting at midday. Like, Andrew's a busy guy, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Listen, it's a pleasure to be here with Tom and to Chris and to you guys behind the scenes as well. So thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to spending the next 45 minutes with you guys. So thank you.
Blessings. So let's get straight into it. Andrew, have you been vaccinated?
Have I been vaccinated? Yes, I have been vaccinated. I've had 2 vaccinations. I haven't gone to number 5 and 6 or whatever number we're on at the moment right now. But I've had the 2 vaccinations, and good reason as well, which I'm sure that we get into a bit later.
Yeah, let's go straight into it.
Yeah. So my brother, I'm sure some of you guys might know, but he was literally 10% survival during COVID. So he got COVID really bad, and he ended up in hospital for 159 days. In hospital and in a coma for 50 days. So during that whole COVID time, I was working with the NHS, working with the council, working with all of our stakeholders, but at the same time having to take telephone calls from his hospital saying, listen, he's not going to survive the night, he's not going to this, he's not going to that, and making critical decisions on his life during that time. So I decided to take the first vaccination, but not straight away. Listen, mate, I wasn't the first one in the queue, not at all. Even though I was speaking to doctors, I was speaking to clinicians, and I was having the information coming to me. No. I still had to make sure that this is what I wanted and done my own research.
So, Andrew, your position is a big position in Croydon, within the organisation and in Croydon in general.
Yeah.
So, like you said, a lot of information that you're getting on a day-to-day basis, especially during COVID, must have been key, actionable. But you're hearing loads of myths from the community coming about the vaccination. Did that make you hesitant at any point?
Well, it did. But I said, lucky enough, I was in a position where I'm able to speak to doctors, and not just local doctors. I'm talking about doctors who are high up in the NHS. Wow. So I was able to speak to them and ask them, is this correct or is it not? And what we have to remember as well, doctors weren't sure as well.
Exactly.
If we take ourselves back to 2.5 years ago, there was so much information coming into our community, and I was in that position where I had to try to decipher what is true and what is false, and try and then send out the true information to our community.
It was uncertainty on all parts.
It was 100%.
From the NHS to the government to the force, education, schools, and at home. Yeah. All of us, every single industry that we could think of. Yeah. We're all suffering. We're all part of. There's a first ever global lockdown I could think of. Yeah. And we're all literally that element. You're the CEO of the Croydon BME Forum. Yeah. We've had governors. We've got mayors. We've got youth work. We've got everybody from every industry is in the same position where they're going out, putting the brave face on to lead the community. Yeah. But then you've got to go home to your own children, to your own brother, to your wife, to yourself.
It was deep, and in that role as well, as the CEO of the BME Forum or the Black community or so, people are looking at me. People are saying, well, Andrew, what are you saying? NHS was coming to me. Wow. The police were coming to me. The police were, the family members, the community were saying, Andrew, what say you? And I then had to go and make sure that whatever information that we sent out was the correct information for our community. And what we never told people, you have to go and take the vaccine. What we've done is try and inform our community that yes or no, etc., etc.
So that must be, it's almost an impossible task, like you said, as a leader of essentially a community in a borough as large as Croydon as well. Yeah. It's almost, you're dealing with real-time information like no one's ever dealt with before. Yeah. Hourly. 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
And fast changing. Because you've got information coming from China, information coming from the States, from Russia,
Trying to lead a community where real-time information it must have took some leadership to say, you know what, I'm not going to pass this information now until I know exactly what's going to happen.
No, definitely. And as I said, lucky enough because we did have, we were having weekly meetings. So when I say we, asked Croydon Council, the doctors, NHS hospitals, and we were getting the latest information from the top. Okay. So any information coming, we all heard it. So we heard the stuff about the 5G, and and all of this stuff, and all of that kind of information. So it was just making sure that anything that the forum gave out was correct as far as possible, and being and keeping up with that information as much as possible, making sure that our community felt safe during that time.
Yeah. So I believe, like myself and Chris, obviously during COVID, we did a little bit of work with the BME, and I saw the work that BME did during COVID, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But how did you get up and action it in a quick, like morning one? The 15th, I remember the date, the 15th of March last year was cool. We woke up by 3 o'clock on March the 16th, we're not going to work for the next 3 months.
For sure.
How did you change things so drastically?
Listen, it was a change for everyone. Yeah. I remember for that, maybe that first 3 or 4 days I was at home, I was like, wow, what are we going to do? Yeah, we didn't have laptops. We were all just used to coming into the office and just working on our desktops, right? So all of a sudden I had to go and get 20 laptops for all my staff. Wow. Yeah, I had to get telephones because all of a sudden I had to start ringing my staff. It's like, oh wait, no, you can't, not allowed to ring me on my personal phone. If I want to ring them at 3 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So all those little things I had to start doing. I had to get new policies in place and working from home and not working from home and all of those kind of stuff. So, but lucky enough, we had a good team and our team grew as well. I think on the 7th, on the 20th of March, when we went into lockdown, we had 7 members of staff. By the end of lockdown, we had 13 members of staff. Wow. Okay. So that's how much we grew during a year and a half, right? We grew that much. And by us growing that much, we were then able to serve the community in many, many, many different ways, which I'm sure we get onto as well.
Yeah. What do you, so you have frontline, not only access, but frontline exposure to the community.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to make an assumption, but you've seen a lot of hesitancy in regards to the vaccine as well.
Yeah. So one of the ways how we kind of really, what we've done during the COVID was Zooms. Yeah. So we didn't really do a food bank. We did do a food service to our African and Caribbean families because the food that they were getting wasn't culturally correct.
Kosher.
Yeah. They were getting Heinz soup. Yeah. And they wanted they wanted their proper soup, They wanted ackee and saltfish, and they were getting etc. Yeah. So we done a cultural relevant food bank for that. But what the forum done was we done our Zoom, so we gave information out. Yeah. Considering we hadn't done a Zoom before, the 23rd of March, we ended up doing about 200 Zoom sessions within that year.
I remember seeing your WhatsApp story.
Still
WhatsApp stories on a daily basis.
Still get them.
This is going on, this is going on. And the BME forum group, that goes off.
It's still going on.
But we have to because, so what we done was a couple of things. Is mental health.
Yes.
Our mental health in our community went out of the roof. Yes. And we're still fighting with that now. Sure. We're still fighting that, our stats for mental health has just gone crazy for our young black men. Yeah. So we're still working on that as well. But what we done was, how can we get the information out to people? So some of our Zoom sessions, 50, 60, our largest Zoom session had 800 people on there. Wow. We had 800 people on there asking, what's happening? Exactly.
How do we fix this? How do we get back to normal?
I see, obviously, one of the big things, just before COVID, it might have been a blessing that happened because you started putting together the wellness hub in Croydon.
The wellness centre.
And I've seen that's kind of growing as well.
Yeah.
After COVID, are you getting a lot of more people coming in needing that service?
Yeah, 100. I was actually just there this morning showing some people around the wellness centre, which is in the Whitgift Centre. Yeah. But and that once again that opened a month before COVID kicked in.
I remember going
you guys done some stuff there. So that was set up that was set up to do some really good stuff. And I'm glad to say that we're now being able to open it up. It's open Monday to Saturday now from 9 to 5, and people are now accessing the service.
Wow.
And we do loads of different activities in there. But more personally, it's more for our black community as well, our BME community.
It's beautiful because you give a platform to a lot of organisations, a lot of individuals, a lot of service providers that may not actually have
that space,
have that resource, have that access, and what you do with the promotion. This is a BME forum advert here, but I have to say I do appreciate it.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Before lockdown, I don't think we neglect ourselves.
Yeah.
You mentioned black men quite a lot, but within our community, we neglect ourselves. We can neglect our own healing. We neglect our relationships. We neglect
physical
our
health, mental health.
Physical, holistic health.
Yeah.
Physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. And I personally would say I appreciate the platforms that you're giving. There's a lot of people that, with any organisation, there's people that aren't unhappy with how it works, and whether it's to do with funding or I didn't get the light to shine, but there's so many decisions as a leader that you have to make, and you have to sort of do your sort of due diligence.
We have to.
I don't believe you're a good leader. It's liked by anybody. Anyway, it can't be everyone's cup of tea, can you? It's just not there.
We had that conversation about Boris, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not saying Boris did perfect things, but he's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people support him, some people won't. I'm not giving my opinion on Boris. Anyway, let's move it on.
How do we move forward in regards to like the financial times that come in? Everything still
coming out of COVID, mental health, financial implications. It might hit your organisation as well financially with Croydon's problems.
Do you know what? I've been having this conversation so much in the last couple of weeks, right?
So you're prepared.
And we have to be. we have to be, as a leader, you have to be. You can't just, we don't just depend on Croydon Council. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming from, the same corporate world, and we have to kind of have plans in place. But I'm a guy who thinks of it like the glass is half full. Rather than half empty. So that's what I've been saying to so many people in the last week and a half, right? And it's just crazy how much times I've had to say it, because I'm like, I can fill that cup. And it's easy for me to fill it, rather than it's half empty and it's only going to go down.
Rather than I've lost it, I can fill it.
Because there's opportunities. But there's opportunities.
There's always opportunities.
That's what leadership is, and that's where your light will shine brightest. Because the community needs a leader, or needs somebody that can inspire. You need somebody that can look into and see the glass half full. You can see the opportunity in every situation.
So looking at COVID, right? Organisations in Croydon shut down.
Literally boarded up.
Literally said, okay, I'm not coming into Croydon. I live wherever it is. I'm going to work from home. I was like, hell no. I was like, listen, and hence why I said that we moved from 7 members of staff to 30. There was a time we were recruiting higher than Croydon Council. Because we were recruiting. And that's what I'm saying. So and I took the opportunity of COVID to saw it as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to do stuff and to get out to people, rather than just saying, well, actually, we're all at home, we're not doing anything. You see what I'm saying?
So the community needs us. It's time to grow. It's time to keep it moving. And a lot of people don't appreciate hard times breeds growth, and that's when you really get time to grow. Like the pressure's on, you see the opportunity, you more than quadrupled maybe your staff members.
Definitely.
You know what? You look at opportunity and you're like, you know what? It's time to people got fit and healthy. People looked after their mental health. If you look at the positive side of the pressure you're about to go on, it's always greater if you push. If you stand still, the pressure's going to crumble you. We just all had a conversation about mental health here. And the moment mental health wins is when you say, I'm just going to stand still.
I love that.
I'm not a mental health expert, just in case anyone gets at me.
Well, technically we are now. We've been doing it. That's why how we connected over lockdown as well. We were doing the food bank, doing the food deliveries to the toiletries, doing the mental health service as well, doing the signposting, and we sort of like similar to yourself, being at the front line, being in the midst of what was going on. But by doing that as, like I said earlier, as service providers, as business owners, as parents, as black men,
exactly.
as husbands and partners, as fathers, as sons, You know?
And that's leaders, right?
As
you guys
leaders.
are leaders. Yeah, for sure.
Do you know, I run a program now, and it's called Fitter Fathers. And when I'm talking to guys, and they say, I'm not a father, can I be part of it? I try to explain to everyone, being a father is not necessarily about having children or biological children. It's about being a leader.
Exactly.
So the instant you become a leader, you're the father of a community.
Absolutely.
You're father of your nephews, cousins, nieces.
Godparents,
everything. You're there. So when I say fitter fathers, I mean better communities.
Yeah.
I mean men leading communities.
Yeah.
And like you're saying there, when we go to the front and we say, like yourself, Andrew, you know what, I'm not going to relax. I'm not going to be the stereotypical person that just wants to, 6 months off and I can chill. Don't worry, don't worry. You don't put your feet up. Actually, I'm going to pay you a little bit extra because it's COVID, innit? You said, no, we're going to take the scruff of the neck of the problem and we're going to solve it.
We're going to solve
it. But bro, on that though, that's not, I hear what, because obviously we're all walking the same path. But what you're saying, that demographic of people is not in a judgmental way, because we talk about it all the time. A lot of people were operated out of fear. There are a lot of people who were afraid, and they still are afraid.
Yeah.
And not to say that fear doesn't ring within us as well, but it's a case of actually balancing and saying, actually, you know what, I am afraid, there's uncertainty, I don't know what's going to happen going forward. But we have to embrace that unknown. And a lot of people are still coming out. Tom, there's once again people that come to our services that are reaching out for consultancy, the mental health consultancies or training or coaching or whatever it is. And it takes courage to even ask for help. Remember, we grew up in a generation where, we said this on the last podcast, we grew up in a generation where, especially as black men, asking for help, even men asking for help is seen as a sign of weakness.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, is he a coward? Oh, is he weak? Is he, he's not alpha? Oh, he's not. You see,
moving forward with hesitancy of COVID, what do you think was the main reasons for our community's hesitancy in the COVID vaccination?
I always say this story. So Matt Hancock, right? So if you remember, he came up when he was doing these daily briefings, right? He came up and said, okay, guys, we've got the vaccine now, right? And these are the first set of group of people who's going to take, who's going to have the vaccine. And they said, yep, the over 65s. He said the vulnerable, and then he said black people. I was like, what?
You're definitely not the front of the queue.
I was like, wait, we are. I said, we are never front of the queue for anything.
Andrew was ticking off every single time. This is what I mean.
But you know what I'm saying?
We don't get nothing
I remember
first.
that. I said, but we're never first in the queue, right? So how come all of a sudden we're now being asked to be the, you know what I'm saying? So all of that, that was definitely part of it. Is like, wait there, why do they want to try this thing on us or out of everyone, right? And also the stigma as well. There's been loads of other vaccines that have come out and been tried and hasn't hasn't worked. All of that stuff. So when people are like, well, wait there, was it the one? Can't remember the mumps. Is it the mumps triple? MMR.
Oh yeah.
That came out and that affected a lot of people as well. So people were like, well, I don't want to be the first in the queue here. Let's just see how it goes on.
They're still doing flu vaccines, even flu vaccines in schools now. It's a case of trust.
Yeah.
We got last week, because you're right, and that's sort of linking into what Tom's question about the hesitancy within our community. Yeah. We've been guinea pigs for quite a while. Yeah. And we've allowed ourselves to be from my perspective, we've allowed ourselves to be guinea pigs because of a fear of actually saying, what is it that we're taking? Why is it that we're on the front saying,
for sure.
We're not the priority for anything, for funding or for for jobs
opportunities.
But all of a sudden now, the global crisis, and we're now, like you say, we're now the priority to make sure that our community, whether or not it's because of...
I don't want to...
We weren't doing that, man.
Reject that too much. But aren't we all guinea pigs all of the time? Anytime you start something new, you need a guinea pig.
You do.
Even in the service that you're providing, Chris, someone had to be the first person to say, I trust you. Yeah. I feel like it at times as well.
Yeah, but at this time, we didn't want to be the guinea pigs this time. Right? We were like...
LGBTQ should have got the heads up.
We were like, you guys go first, right? We're happy to watch. Cool.
We'll go 4 for 15 line,
For once, we didn't mind going last, right?
But then the people that you saw, once again, in the community that felt pressure. So you've just read as a leader, you've seen that this time as a leader, you're literally saying, wow, just saying, right. What about the vulnerable people in our community that don't have the confidence, don't have the not that saying that they're uneducated, but don't have the awareness, don't have the resource to actually back out and say, I'm not for this. How did you?
Well, you know, it's about trust. Yeah, it's the word is trust. You know, and that's why the NHS worked with us as well, because I honestly say before COVID, I couldn't get hold of any doctors in my role. Wow. In my role. Wow. Now I've got doctors on speed up. Just calling me and saying, Andrew, can I do the? You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't appreciate the voluntary sector. They didn't appreciate the work that we've done. You can go, maybe you guys can go and call 10 black men now and we can have a session, right? They can't do that. So when they saw the roles that we can do and how we engage with the community, they're now saying, Andrew, can you get the people and then we can come and talk to them? And that's what we started. We started to do focus groups. We started to do focus group. And then they would come and ask their guys, so why don't you trust us? Why don't you do this? And it was like, well, all this, I'm saying,
history. It really become an opportunity for the BME to grow them, because like I said, beforehand they didn't appreciate that we were able to do this. Now they can see, I know social prescribing is a massive thing that they're trying to push. They're seeing how much the BME can actually provide that as a service and how 100. Much in the community, because the black men and women are the hardest to reach in the community. So you don't have their trust, they don't give a damn about you. So we've got the space where you can now, so that's really good that again, if it wasn't for the fact of the visionary leader that you are, I'm trying to say all these good things to you, because I hope you get some funding and that.
I'm always looking, bro. I'm always looking to share, bro.
So I just want to put it out there, innit? Just put it out there.
No, but you know what? When we were in a position, to help you guys.
I'm back on conversation.
Last recorded on the podcast.
I go on camera, yeah. You're recording.
Contract.
No, but you guys were able to get some funding as well to do the lovely stuff that you're doing now.
With your support as well, Andrew. So it's not like we other organisations trying to do big.
Absolutely. No, collaboration. Like what's beautiful as well is the collaborative perspective. I mentioned it before, but it's refreshing. A lot of the times when we talk about communities, everybody looks to sort of Jewish, Asian, Oriental, Eastern European, and it's always a black community that have a stigma. And we allow ourselves to have a stigma of not working together. And I think I always say that's a lie. Every operation or service that I think I've run over the years, I've always collaborated with brothers and sisters. Not saying that they've all worked out, but at least we always gravitate towards each other when we're trying to do something that's authentic, something that's organic.
And we have to, man. Community. We have to, because as well as us, we have our children, right? And then we have our grandchildren. And if we are not doing it now, and then let alone what we're bringing our children up to and what our grandchildren, you know what I'm saying? So we have to work together and grow them as leaders.
Bro, we should be we should be our children's heroes.
Yeah, for
literally.
Sure. I love that.
Like our children shouldn't really be like, my son, I use my son as an example. We had Superheroes Day a couple of years back. When I asked my son, who did he want to be as a superhero? Bro, I thought he was going to say Black Panther. When Black Panther just came out, I thought he was going to say Black Panther or Captain America. He's like, I want to be like you, Dad.
That's good.
Like, bro, that's move. Like, it's a responsibility and it's a weight, but I love it because our children, when we do mentoring in schools and that, and I do that now. I do unsung heroes with my boys when we do the mentoring, and we ask them, who are your heroes? And some of the times it's like 50 Cent or whoever's on road or whoever they're talking about kind of thing. It's like, who do you have close to you that really you see working hard? Who do you have around you that sets a good example, that's kind and loving? And it's like, my uncle, my dad, it's like, what do you think of that?
Well, you remember last summer, I think it was last summer, I came down to your awards day, and I made sure, I put that in my diary, and I took my work experience lady with us as well.
And Janet
Campbell came down, and we stood and we saw how those young people, and you guys gave them the medals and the awards and all these kind of stuff as well. So we have to, man. So,
for young people to see people like yourself and Janet, because otherwise they don't think political leaders can be black or people of massive organisations that can be black. And it's a narrative that we tell ourselves, because like Chris said, black people can't work together.
Thank you.
I don't believe in that at all. It's who you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
And we have to understand sometimes you have to let people go. And it's not a problem with saying goodbye to friends and shaking hands. It doesn't have to be beef, innit? It doesn't have to be a problem.
For real,
you know what? I love you, but in order for my growth to continue and for me to have support around me, I've got to move on.
It's letting go of old habits, old bad habits. And that's life. It's one of them.
Andrew, as we wrap it up, I'm going to go all interviewer. As we wrap it up and time moves on,
man.
How or what lies in store for you and the BME future? BME Forum, not future.
Yeah, the BME Forum. So I've been at the forum for 5 years now, you know, so I'm now like, what happens next now, right? There's loads of opportunities, you know. Mental health, as I mentioned before, is really big at the moment. So we're doing some programs to really expand our mental health offering within Croydon, and especially with our young black men as well. Yeah, because once again, we're at the bottom of the list. So there's some new programs coming out which is really going to be aimed at our young black men. For Andrew Brown now, wow, you know, I just turned 50 this year, so you know, thank you for the birthday wishes and all that, you know. But yeah, I'm really looking to see what's going to happen in my life over the next. I said my daughter just got married last week, you know, so you know what now for Andrew?
Grandfather,
he's glowing, you know.
Grandfather Andrew,
you see him glow. Dim the lights.
But what I do know is I don't want to be working when I'm 60. You know what I'm saying? You know. I don't want to be, you know, I'm being recorded and filmed, so I don't want to say too much, but you know what I'm saying, I don't want to be working when I'm 60, so yeah, I've got some things planned.
Love it.
But to me, it's about legacy. And if I was going to finish off with anything, it's about legacy. It's like, who's now going to take over from my seat? You know what I'm saying? I've got 2 strong black men here, you know, there's a good 2 other good, strong black men I know in the community. There's 2 strong black ladies who I know, you know. So if I'm not here in a year or 2 years' time, actually, who's going to come in and have the eyes on the community? Because we can do all the stuff with the government and all, which is fine, but actually, what about our community? So that's where I'm saying it's about who's going to take over from me in the next 12 to 18 months. And that's how I see myself.
Legacy, powerful,
Legacy.
man.
Legacy.
Hey, no, I've got to ask. If that's the case, and that's what we're looking at forecasting now, what roadblocks do you have? And even throughout the lockdown and everything else, what are your current roadblocks?
When you say roadblocks, in what way?
As in, what's stopping you from progress or attaining any of the outcomes or goals that you're trying to achieve now?
Listen, as I said, you know, I don't make things stop me, bro.
I love it.
I don't, because if people would have said that, you know, that I would be here in 5 years tomorrow, I don't.
I love it.
From where I started, from Brixton, single mother, you know, everything was against me. You know what I mean? And everything I've done in my life, you know. So I don't make things stop me. If I see, as long as I always tell them when I'm teaching my young people, I say, listen, as long as it's legal. It's cool. As long as it's legal, it's cool. So I don't let, if it's an opportunity, I've got a lovely wife, as I said, you know, we sit down, we pray together, we talk to each other, you know what I mean, we try and do things together, but I don't really make things stop me, bro.
I love it.
I would love a conversation as well about faith, if you've ever fancied coming in and have a conversation.
Faith
is another series.
That's another episode.
What the faith?
What the faith?
I love that. I
definitely love having a conversation about faith.
Faith is number one in my life. And for sure.
No, thank you very much, Andrew Brown, for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Oh, we're doing handshakes now.
Hey, COVID is finished, guys. Thank you.
Blessings. Thank you, guys.